this is Bruce the Last Nail, and I've got Keely with me. Now we're on the day 3 of our trip to Northwest Wyoming, and as you can see in the background, we're now at Grand Teton National Park. And this is, if not one of the most beautiful places in the world, it's one of the most beautiful places in Wyoming. So, we're just north of the airport, so we just heard a jet take off and land. So if you hear some roaring there, that's where that's from. So it's about 7:45 in the morning. We left Pinedale around 6, so it's been about an hour and a half drive. But the reason you get up here so early is to try to catch the Tetons as close to sunrise as you can. So right now it's about 40, what did it say, about 40 degrees? It's about 40 degrees out, but it's not bad. It's, I'm in my Colorado sweatshirt with my Wyoming hat. So I guess I'm, instead of being the Colorado Buffs, I'm the Colorado Cowboys. So do you have anything?
And the sun is quite beautiful hitting the mountains here. It really is. So it's really nice. We were a little bit concerned about the view and any smoke or anything that might be filtering this way, but it's really beautiful how it's hitting the mountains. So we're excited. We're excited to come and see and adventure.
Okay, so I asked you to come along for the ride with me and give a big thumbs up to this video, which will be day 3. And please, if you will, hit that subscription button. We would really appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll be talking with you a little later. Goodbye. And those are the Tetons. Now, I just wanted to throw something in there that we're just reading on the placard. And that's to how the Grand Tetons got their name. Back in the French fur trapping days, which probably around the 1820s when they first came into this area, they saw the Tetons over here. Now, I would imagine the only women that they probably saw in the area were the Indian or the Native American women. And given that those were probably the only men that they saw, and I don't know if I should go there with this, but it is pertinent, they thought that the Tetons probably looked like female breasts. So there's 3 of them up there. There's Grand Teton, and there's a peak to the right and a peak just to the right of that. So they came up with the name Le Trois Tetons. In French, of course, I won't go into the English pronunciation of that, but I'm certainly suggesting the French derivative. So anyway, that's kind of how that term got started. So anyway, I just had to put that in there. Down this way a little bit is the Jackson Hole ski area, and that would be right in about the middle of the picture. So I'm also going to get some B-roll in here with my other camera. So here is a picture of the entire Teton Range. Later today we'll be going into the Yellowstone area. Behind me here at Grand Teton National Park, This is called the Pfeiffer, P-E-I-F-F-E-R Homestead. And this is the iconic Mormon Barn. This is the old Mormon settlement area. And you see this picture of, and I've gotten B-roll of this, of the Grand Tetons behind here. Behind this barn, and I've seen so many pictures of this. This is the place I would have basically killed to get to. So, but I didn't have to do that. But this is just another one of these beautifully iconic parts of Grand Teton National Park. Now, the last time I was here, I wasn't here specifically at this spot, but that was 40 years ago. I was about 25, and I was driving in a Toyota, my old 1976 Toyota Corolla. And I got here actually in the middle of the night, and it was cloudy and rainy, and I didn't have any viewing conditions at all. And I also had what they called, a 126 Instamatic camera, so I just took prints. I mean, it was like not even being here. But this is just so much different, having the privilege of coming out here and taking YouTube videos and sharing it with you. So I hope you appreciate this as much as I appreciate being here. This is just an absolute privilege. It's very spiritual, being in... And I don't want to get too religious or anything, but being in God's creation and also man's creation, too. Here's a pan shot of the Mormon Barn at the Pfeiffer Homestead. And those are the Grand Tetons in the background. Just gorgeous here. Hi, this is Bruce, and we are now in Yellowstone National Park. And I'm at the top of the world, well, almost. I'm at the Continental Divide in Yellowstone. Now, I'm standing on the Pacific side. That is, if rainfall or anything falls here, and let's just assume that it doesn't evaporate, it falls off to the side, goes into the river, any rainfall here is going to go out to the Pacific Ocean. And if I go to the other side of the Continental Divide, if I just go to the other side of that sign, then any rainfall that falls over there is going to go to the Atlantic Ocean. So that's kind of how that worked. I had heard someone on YouTube last week describing the Continental Divide, and I didn't want to tell you how it was described, but it was just like completely untrue, complete bullshit, whatever. So, but this is what the Continental Divide is. So great. So we're going to go see today, we're definitely going to see the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone and Yellowstone Lake, and I'll see what else we can get to given the time that we have. So we'll talk to you later, and here we are, Yellowstone National Park. And for posterity, here is, now I'm on the Atlantic Ocean side of the Continental Divide, but this is the National Park Service emblem. I love that emblem. I'd love to have a baseball hat like that, but you have to actually be working for the National Park Service. So, but here it is. So we're here at the first basin, geyser basin, and this is the West Thumb. And that is Lake Yellowstone. in the background. Now that lake is huge. And this is part of the volcanic caldera of Yellowstone. And I think it lasted over about 640,000 years ago. And it's just beautiful. They look like a lot of springs and mud pots. Okay, for all you Disney fans out there, I just found a hidden Mickey. This is on the west side of the West Thumb Geyser Basin. This is the Abyss pool. I would say it's either very deep or the geologists here probably don't know where the bottom of it is. That's the Abyss. And here is the Black Pool at West Thumb. It's beautiful in there. But I don't think I would want to go touching it. There, it's probably very, very hot. And besides water being in there, we don't know what other chemicals might be in there. There could be sulfuric acid. It's very beautiful. That's, I don't know if you can see it, that's the King Geyser. That's actually a geyser over there. Look at the colors. This is where you really get the name Yellowstone, from the sulfur. And there's probably iron in here. Just gorgeous, isn't it?
It is.
Keely's right next to me. She's really enjoying this.
And what's coming off of it is really warm. I mean, it feels really warm. It's like steam or something.
Oh yeah, it's steam. Kind of, sometimes you can smell different chemicals. Not enough to poison you or anything. I don't think you want to smell this day in and day out, but it's really cool. And the flow of the water, the steam, goes out. That's Lake Yellowstone right there. It's just beautiful today. Just a beautiful late summer. We're right at the transition between late summer and early autumn. And I just want to say Yellowstone Park is just, National Park is just huge. That's the big cone. Looks like a funeral. Here are some recreational canoeists canoeing in the lake. Nice. A lot of different colors. There's some greens, reflected green and reflected deep blues. Here's some more oranges, browns. There's another one of the pools at the West Thumb Geyser Basin, or the West Thumb Basin. This one specifically is the Bluebell Pool.
Yeah, that's what you'll see up at Old Faithful.
Hi, Bruce here, and I'm at the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and that's Yellowstone Falls that you're seeing behind me. And this is another one of these spectacular places here at Yellowstone where there's been a lot of geological activity. And so I'm not going to say a lot here. I'm going to go ahead and take quite a bit of B-roll and not say much. A lot of color here. Okay, I think this is looking north from Artist's Point. This is the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and I think it's about, at this point, looking down into the Yellowstone River. It's about 1,000 feet deep, the canyon is. And just the colors here are just amazing. You've probably had a lot of this material that was laid down during the last supervolcanic eruption. There's a lot of different minerals here. The reds would be iron. The yellow that you see would probably be heavy sulfur and pumice, because it's very volcanic around here. It's just so gorgeous. Amazing. A lot of people here too. But I would imagine during the height of tourist season, you can at least find parking here. During the height of tourist season, you probably can't find any parking. And here's Keeley in front of, on Artist Point.
Beautiful here.
Is it beautiful? It is.
I can understand why they call it what they call it.
Yep, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and this is just a small part of it. It goes way north of here. But they don't want us in there.
Right.
But they love us.
Yes.
That's okay.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
I've been here before. I haven't been to this part of the falls. I've been up right at the falls last time I was here, but I didn't even know about this part.
Absolutely beautiful. Lots of color. Very dramatic.
Yeah, the waterfall is amazing, but
Yes.
it's just beyond words.
Taking lots of pictures, and we'll share
Yes.
with you guys too.
Oh yeah. We're still at Artist Point, and the sun is really shining brightly up there. Here, let's wait until it is, get a picture of the sky. and you get a better picture of what that looks like out there. Then we go low and it just really starts exposing. This is the upper falls, the upper Yellowstone Falls. It's not one of the lower falls. It goes into the main canyon. But that's a lot of water gushing down. Above there you can see the bridge. Here's a map of the Yellowstone Falls area and the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. Now, where we first were was Artist Point. The significance of that is I think that's where the artist Moran was when he illustrated. He gave the first illustration of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone and Yellowstone Falls, and the significance of that was to get that information back to Washington so that this area could eventually be protected. Back in those days, nobody would believe the unusual geological features that this area had. So this is Uncle Tom's Point. This is where we are right now. And we're going to go back to the road and then go north of here. Eventually head up to the village, the Canyon Village, education, that area. But we're probably going to stop up here and see the lower falls. Now we're on the other side. We're on the west side of the Yellowstone River. And I don't know I think this is probably the distance, it could be the distances of how high the waterfalls are, or the number of feet that they are from here. But we'll see. Now this is the upper waterfall of the upper Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. As you can see, there's not as much color up here. But we'll probably go down a little bit to the overlook. Let's go over here. Keely's over here taking pictures. Pretty, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
I don't know if I want to go swimming in there.
It's kind of cold.
Well, it looks kind of cold, and if you get out of control, you're going to go over the other waterfall.
Oh, yes. You can go over there.
Now here's a pine tree. Not really sure. It might be a lodgepole, but I'm not really sure. But there's indication right there of probably a brown bear that climbed up the tree. I don't know if you can see that in there, but that looks like evidence of a brown bear right there that clawed the bark away. Here again is the part of the Yellowstone River between the upper falls. You can see the mist now we're going to head over to the main overlook. Oh, there's the falls right there. But we're going to head down there to the main overlook. See the water gushing into the pool below. So, Keely and I are now at the northern apex of our whole entire trip, and the northern apex of our time at Yellowstone. This is Mammoth Hot Springs. This is another one of these iconic Mammoth or iconic Yellowstone locations. And last time I was here was 40 years ago. Let's go over here. This is what the scene looks like. We just heard an elk bugle. So there are elk down in the village. And again, you do not want to walk. This is very unstable ground. You never know. There's geologic processes going on inside the earth. And you could step on a weak area and not be seen or heard from again. So not a good idea. This here is called the Devil's Thumb. This is really gorgeous in here. This is the Mammoth Hot Springs. And I bet that water is very hot. And my other guess is that it's very acidic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And there is bacteria that live in this location. There is life in here. Look at this, we got wildflowers. Remember the character Malcolm from Jurassic Park, the movie, and he said life finds a way. So this is called Jupiter Spring. Apparently at one point in time, it seemed like around 100 years ago, it was much more colorful than it is now. That's Jupiter Spring. These are some of the trees that have died. There's some of the pines and evergreens. I don't know if they're just a little hardy or can't take the chemical makeup. Down further on down you can see Mammoth Hot Springs. That's where actually the park headquarters for Yellowstone National Park are located. That's the Mound Terrace right there. And here we've got a lot of the water that's coming off, and it's stained the ground. And it's just a lot of vibrant colors. Look at this down here. Just beautiful. There's probably a lot of sulfur. I don't know what the different colors, what minerals they are. You can even see some green in there, which is most likely algae. See that? That looks like a fork. But it's just the way something's grown. Now, this is the kind of stuff you want to avoid in here. There's a hat, and I've got a hat on too. I would imagine it's just the wind that's blown people's hats off. But it really spoils the scenery for everybody else. I don't know what the National Park Service does. Maybe they come in with a fishing pole. Probably might have some people that are very skilled at getting this stuff out of here without... Yeah, I can see how things will fly off. I just had a gust of wind come, and I'm wearing a hat too, so I'm putting the hat on fairly tight. Boy, look at the terraces. Boy, if the painter Bob Ross was still around, he'd probably say these are all happy little terraces. My shadow in there with my hat, so I'm trying to be real careful not to lose it. Over here is the Pallet Spring. I can see why. You can see all the colors. And I think we're on the Minerva Terrace. Here's the upper portion we were just on. Some of the walkways up there, we headed down. It was raining on us a little earlier as we were coming up here, but the rain has stopped. So it's really nice. This is the other spring. It's at the top here. And this is a feature called the Liberty Cap. I take it this was probably, top of it was probably a spring at one time. And it just kept building up and up and up, and then it looks like it's dried up now. That's the Liberty Cap.
State of pizza, and you know what that means. Those jalapenos get me all fired up.
This bison actually says things. It's kind of cool.